Hi guys, welcome back. Oh, I probably should have written this. Algebra 1. We are on lesson 36. Guys, we're going to be talking about distribution property, but this time we're going to be doing it with fractions. Fractions with variables on the top and the bottom. We are also going to talk about the minus sign and negative exponents. So we've got two different things that we're going to talk about in this lesson today. Let's jump right into it. Example number 1. Example 1. X squared over y squared is, and then x squared over y minus 3y to the third over m. All right, guys, so here's how we use this. We're going to use that distributive property, right? We're going to take this chunk and we're going to multiply it by this chunk and then by this one. So this whole chunk to this whole chunk, right? Now, just a friendly reminder, when we have like 2 over 3 times 1 over 5, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom to give us 2 over 15, right? So just a friendly reminder on that. We're going to do the same thing. The other thing that you need to keep in mind are the rules of exponents. X squared times x to the third, that's 2x's plus 3x's gives us x to the fifth. So even though we're multiplying the bases here, we end up adding those exponents. Thinking about it, the other rule of exponents that we have is x to the third squared. What that's saying is x to the third times x to the third. And we just showed you on the last one, that's x times x equals x to the sixth. Go back up here and look at this, x to the sixth. This is when we multiply our exponents, okay? So with those rules in mind, let's go back to this problem here. We're gonna multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. So I take this guy and multiply it here. I'm gonna get x to the fourth, okay? On the bottom, I have y squared times y to the 1, which gives me y to the third. Minus, now let's multiply upstairs. X squared times 3y to the third. Well, that's just gonna be 3x squared y to the third. You can't combine any of those because they don't share the same base, right? On the bottom, y squared times m gives me my squared. Notice I'm putting them in alphabetical order as I do that. I think that's a lot easier to deal with. So that's how you just do the distributive property with these polynomials and rational equations, right? So, or rational expressions, I'm sorry. Example number 2. This guy says, I'm gonna put this right here, but I don't wanna accidentally stop recording or something. That would be just my luck. All right, example number 2. This guy says, m over z, that's a z, times AXP, we're going to throw all sorts of variables at you, like all of them, all at once, minus 2m4p4, like this. Now, guys, remember, oh, that you can barely see that, that's a subtraction. Remember, we can put anything over 1 to turn it into a fraction. So immediately, that's what I'm going to do to this guy. In fact, I'm going to rewrite it so that when I'm copying it from the book, that's the very first thing that I do. m4p4 over 1. All right, we're going to take that distributive property, words are hard, and we're going to distribute this chunk to this chunk, right? We multiply again, straight across top, straight across the bottom. So this to here gives me MAXP. Again, I want to put them in alphabetical order, so I'm going to do MPX. Now downstairs, I'm going to have Z times MK, which gives me MK, or oops, how about KM? Z. I'm allowed to do that, you guys, because 7 times 3 is the same as 3 times 7, right? We're allowed to multiply in any order, so I can shuffle those around. Now, this is a minus, this is a plus, this is a negative, so this is going to stay a negative. If this was a negative here and we were distributing, we would have to make sure that this was a plus. So you got to be real mindful of your signs. Now, upstairs, I have m times 2m4p4. So that means I'm going to have 2m to the fifth because I have 4 here plus that one, right? I'm doing this part now. And then p to the fourth. Now, downstairs, I have z times 1, which is just z. So there's your answer. This is your simplified version, just like that. All right, so let's do another one. Example number 3. On this one, we have AB over C squared. And then we have XAB over C plus 2BX. It's written just like 2BX in the book, but I'm going to automatically put it over a 1, right? Minus 4 over C squared. So this time we're going to be multiplying this chunk. We're going to be distributing it to this chunk, and that chunk all the way over there, okay? So let's take a look at this first one. Upstairs, I'm gonna have A, B, and X. So I have two A's, two B's, and an X. Downstairs, I have two C's and another C, which gives me C to the third. Plus, I'm gonna bring this sign down because this is a positive, so that doesn't change that at all. I have two BX, AB, so I have two A, and then there's now two B's there and one X. Oops, I forgot to put my 2 there. I said it, and I just forgot to put it. Downstairs, C squared times 1 gives me C squared. All right, so now we're gonna do minus because a positive times a negative gives me a negative. Upstairs, I have 4AB, 4AB. Downstairs, I'm gonna have C squared times C squared, which gives me C to the 4th. So this is your simplified version. Excellent. All right. So let's see about these. Oh, let's talk about some, guys, if you aren't already taking notes, you need to be doing that for this because this one is gonna be minus, you're gonna write this down, minus signs and negative exponents. There are some rules here, so we're gonna show you some examples. So for A, we have 4 squared. B, I have 4 to the negative 2. C, I have negative 4 squared. D, I have negative 4 squared. E, I have negative 4, negative 2. F, I have negative 4, negative 2. Okay, so this is all the variations that we can have on negative exponents and negative bases, right? The big thing here is, let's go back to this. 4 squared, that's just 4 times 4, right? Make sure you're writing this down so you have this equals 16, okay? Now, this guy here, that negative exponent, it's currently upstairs, right? Because we can put anything over 1. To get rid of that negative attitude, I have to move it downstairs. So it's gonna be 1 over 4 squared. I got rid of that negative attitude. What that means is 1 over 4 times 4, which means 1 over 16. All right, hopefully those are making sense. So then this one is a positive attitude, so we're not gonna be moving it upstairs or downstairs, but what this says, notice the difference between this guy and this guy. The negative is hanging out front. This one, when it's like this, it's like, hey, do all of your exponents first and then slap a negative on it. So this means negative 4 times 4, which equals negative 16. See the difference here? Negative 16, positive 16. That is a really common mistake, so I wanna make sure that you see that. This guy, though, is saying, hey, do negative 4 2 times. Guys, negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Positive 16, okay? These are the important ones where if you're dealing with negative bases, if it's got parentheses or if it does not, because they're different. You can see that. All right, for this guy here, we're gonna still keep that negative 4, but that's a negative attitude. Again, that's over 1. So it's gonna be 1 over negative 4 squared. We're gonna apply that same rule here. We need to do the exponents and then slap a negative on it. So it's 1 over negative, we'll say it like, I'll write it all the way out. Negative 4 times 4, which equals 1 over negative 16. And again, that negative can be bumped up to the top or the bottom. For here, we have 1 over, because again, this is over 1 and it's got that negative attitude, so it has to go downstairs. So it's gonna be negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared is gonna give me 1 over 16. Negative 4 times, I'll write it out all the way so that you have this. That would be negative 4 times negative 4, which equals 1 over positive 16. So you can see how all of these variations are really important, right? Make sure you have this written down so you can reference it in the event that it happens again, or that you get questions like that. All right, guys, so let's do some practice then. On page 148, I want you to turn there, do practice A through F, and then come on back and make sure you've done it. We'll do it together and we'll make sure you've done it correctly. So for A, we have x squared y minus 3y squared over m. All right, guys, we're gonna use our distributive property to go here and to here. So that first one, we're gonna have x squared times x squared, which is x to the 4th. On the downstairs, y times y is gonna give me y squared minus x squared times 3y squared is gonna give me 3 x squared y squared. I'm putting them in alphabetical order just to make life easier. Over y times m gives me my. That's what you should have gotten for A. Now, the answers in the back of the book and the answers that I'm writing down now, they might be slightly different because you may not have put yours in alphabetical order. That's fine. It's just a good habit to get into, but it's still correct even if it's in a different order. All right, so I'm all caffeinated. Gotta have that caffeine. All right. B is AM over B squared XM over AB minus 3AB. In the book, it's just like that, but when I'm writing it down, I put it over a 1, so I don't lose that placeholder, plus 6M over B squared. Okay, we're gonna take this guy and we're gonna multiply it by all 3 of these chunks, right? So the first chunk upstairs, I'm gonna get AM, XM, so I'm gonna get A, and then there's 2M, so it's M squared, times X. Downstairs, I get AB, B squared, so I'm gonna have A and B to the 3rd, because B squared times B, minus, this is a positive times a negative is a negative. Upstairs, I'm gonna have 3 AA gives me A squared, B, and then M. Downstairs, I'm B squared times 1 gives me B squared. Now, positive times a positive is a positive. AM and 6M gives me 6AM squared over B squared times B squared gives me B to the 4th. So this is your whole answer right there, right? All right, that was B. Let's look at C. All right, so C is -4, -2. D is 1 over -4, -2. C, E is -4, -3. And then F is 1 over -4, -3. Okay, so put that all the way. So, all right, guys. So make sure give these a shot and then come on back. If you haven't already, make sure to pause it, give them a shot, and then come on back. All right, guys, so this one is currently over 1, but it's got that negative attitude upstairs, so we're gonna move it downstairs. That doesn't mean that nothing remains upstairs. We have a 1 upstairs, and now all this garbage goes downstairs, and it becomes a +2. This is saying 1 over -4 times 4, which equals 1 over -16. Again, that negative can be on the top, bottom, or even in the middle if you wanted it like right there. That's fine. All right, so downstairs we have a negative attitude, so we're gonna move that upstairs. So it's -4, 2 over 1, but we don't typically write if it's over 1, so I'm just gonna get rid of that guy. Just wanted to show you. Equals -4 times 4, which equals -16, okay? Here on this guy, I'm gonna move that up a little bit. There's that negative attitude again. So it's all currently upstairs. It needs to go downstairs. And we're going to rewrite the whole thing, except now it's going to have a positive attitude. This guy is 1 over negative. Now, negative. How about this? I'm going to put this in brackets so that you can kind of see what I'm going to do here. So it's brackets, and then it's -4 3 times. Okay, well, -4 times -4 is +16 times the -4 is -64. So this is 1 over -64. But a negative times a negative is a positive. So this is 1 over 64. 1 over 64. So all this garbage becomes that 1 over 64. And now I do have to erase that so that I can. All right, so for F here, same idea. Oh, that was over -3. So again, we know that this is going to be, let's move this up here. It's going to be the same thing because we know this negative attitude now goes upstairs. So it's -4 to the 3rd power over 1, but I'm not going to put it over 1 because I don't generally. And again, the way that this is broken out is -4 times -4 times -4, right? I used brackets in the last one, but I think this will be fine. Negative times a negative is a positive. That's 16 times 4 is going to be 64, -64. So this is going to be -64. A negative is a positive, so that's 64. Your answer is 64. All right, guys, if you have questions on those, let me know. Otherwise, great work, and I will see you in class, guys. Thank you.